The greatest myth in the WNBA dump has officially been exposed. The myth of all myths, the deception of deception. For the better part of 2 years, maybe even 3 years, the mainstream media has been trying to convince us that Angel Reese is a huge star.
Angel Reese may have declared herself the new face of the WNBA, but fans aren't exactly buying it. Despite all the media hype, she didn't even sniff the top 10 in All-Star voting. One reason? She's shooting a brutal 30.9% from the field, one of the lowest marks among qualified players this season. That kind of inefficiency isn't just disappointing, it's disqualifying for someone trying to be the face of the league.
Well, the first returns are coming in on the WNBA All-Star voting. Of course, it will be in Indianapolis. And as you can imagine, Caitlin Clark is leading the All-Star vote. By the way, it looks like a mass.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark isn't just making headlines, she's dominating them. She racked up over 515,000 All-Star votes, leaving Reese in the dust like she never even showed up to the race. Clark didn't need self-promotion to secure her spot. Fans showed up for her because her game speaks volumes. If you're riding with Caitlin and the Indiana Fever, keep voting, and if you know the difference between Baby Goat and Baby Giraffe, you already know who earned her place.
Be honest. Second straight year that Clark has led the fan voting. She was second in early returns in fan voting in 2024, but jumped to first with around 700,000 total votes by the end of the period. So I'm wondering, are we going to see 1 million votes this time? Because I saw somebody earlier that said so far voting is actually way up versus exactly where we was at this time last year.
And this is where the narrative cracks wide open. If Angel Reese is supposedly the league's rising star, why aren't the fans buying it? She's been everywhere: ads, interviews, social feeds. You can't scroll for 30 seconds without seeing her face. But all the exposure can't cover the fact that she's become the most visible inefficient shooter in WNBA history. Hype doesn't equal votes.
Caitlin Clark has 3 times the amount of votes. 3 times the amount of votes as Angel Reese. So, there you go. I suspect Sophie Cunningham's numbers are going to grow after what we've seen. Somebody said, I saw some things online about they sold $1 million worth of Sophie Cunningham jerseys, and something in the neighborhood of 12,000 all went out one.
The media didn't just report on Reese, they built a brand campaign around her. From Forbes hailing her as the WNBA's driving force to TV panels acting like she's single-handedly saving the league, it's been a full-scale promotional blitz. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark has been out here dropping logo threes and packing arenas, yet barely got a mention. The disconnect couldn't be clearer.
Some in the media even do investigative journalism and claim that Angel Reese is the face of the WNBA because she leads the league in followers on social media, along with missed layups and a complete lack of athleticism. Of course, the vast majority of her followers are bots and lonely men, most of which are not buying tickets or watching her games on television because they can't afford the 5 pesos a month to watch the Chicago Bravado on WNBA League Pass.
Even the league's own social media accounts were all in on the Reese hype train. Highlights, interviews, endorsement deals, you name it, Angel Reese was getting top billing like a summer blockbuster. She proudly called herself the reason people were tuning in. Bold words, especially considering the ratings spike seemed to follow someone else's highlights, not hers.
Hi, Angel. David Moses with the Bigs Media. Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question. Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you. Move on to Zoom.
While Reese was talking about legacy, Caitlin Clark was out there quietly building one. Her stats weren't just respectable, they were elite. Fans don't vote based on charisma alone, they vote based on performance. And when ballots opened, the fans responded with facts, not fluff. Clark rose to the top, and Reese barely cracked the conversation. That's more than a surprise, it's a message.
there's a supposed, people keep telling me, supposed second most popular player in the league that doesn't look like the second most popular player at all. And in fact, a rookie I have been touting that is playing better than Angel Reese, Kiki Arifin. Well, basketball fans are showing up, and they have got her voted ahead of Angel right now. Angel is not in the top.
This isn't just about numbers, it's about impact. Reese had all the media love, but Clark had the fan base because she delivered where it counts. For every viral clip of Reese tweeting, Clark was producing game-changing highlights. There's a difference between being talked about and being remembered. The fans knew that, and their votes showed it.
According to Forbes, Caitlin Clark is not responsible for elevating this turd into the mainstream. The ladies responsible for elevating the WNBA are Angel Reese and the unknown face of the...
Even Forbes, in its polished narrative, called Reese the key to the WNBA's rise, while completely overlooking Clark. But when it came time for fans to write the real story, they didn't follow the script. They voted based on impact, not influence. When the dust settled, it was Clark's name at the top of the list, not because of marketing, but because of pure basketball.
Enough to tell you where Angel Reese's place is, well, it's 13th place. And I can tell you right now, Jonquel Jones ought to be ahead of her.
This whole saga is about more than basketball, it's about fan trust. Viewers don't want to be told who to cheer for. They want to choose. And when they had that chance, they passed on the narrative being pushed. Reese didn't just miss the top 10, she missed by a mile. Despite all the interviews, sponsorships, and saturation, the fans looked at the numbers and said, no thanks.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion.
To put it bluntly, Angel Reese is one of the least polished post players we've seen make this much noise. Let's talk numbers. Shooting 30.9% from the field while playing in the paint is a red flag, not a resume. Sure, she's grabbing rebounds, but missing layups at that rate turns those boards into second chance bricks. That's not all-star caliber, it's stat padding.
Obviously, no way Angel can compare to Caitlin Clark as a shooter or a passer. And there is no way Angel can live up to her dynamic social media / podcast presence as a shooter or a passer or even a shot blocker. She's blocked only 2 shots so far this season. She doesn't even...
Take that 4-point outing against the Fever, for example. Clark wasn't even playing. It was Reese's stage, and she dropped the ball. That's not all-star material, it's mean fuel. And while supporters point to her rebounding numbers, critics are noticing a trend. A good chunk of those boards are rebounds, rebounding her own missed shots. In the WNBA, efficiency matters. And right now, Reese is failing that test.
She has energy, she has an attitude, she'll rebound you the basketball. Great. Nothing else. She has not, she's got self-awareness. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player.
Sure, the hustle is their Angel Reese battles for rebounds and stays active in the paint. But this is 2025, and the league demands more. Teams want players who can shoot, defend, facilitate, and close games at the free throw line. If your main asset is rebounding and bravado, you're not keeping up, especially when other players, both rookies and veterans, are dropping double-doubles without needing a camera crew at every step.
They continue to talk a good game instead of being about a good game. This is fan voting. This is literally vote for who you are a fan of. Vote for who you're a fan of, or vote for who you think is most worthy. Vote for who you're a fan of. Vote for who you think is most worthy. Vote for who you think are the stars in this league. Angel Reese fans, you guys aren't fans of her? You don't think she's most worthy? You don't think she's a star?
Let's talk about fan connection. Caitlin Clark didn't self-declare as royalty, she earned her crown with poise, grit, and cold-blooded execution. She's relatable, composed, and clutch, converting even critics into fans while turning sold-out arenas into her personal highlight reels. Reese, meanwhile, is still rehearsing. Loud confidence and low percentages don't win over audiences, they spark debates and divide timelines. In a league that's desperate to expand its fan base, Clark is the star pulling in new viewers. Reese? She's pulling in bricks and backlash.
Not only is the self-proclaimed Barbie not in the lead, Angel Reese isn't even close to making the top.
Compare Reese to some of the WNBA's most complete forwards and the gap becomes obvious. Aya Wilson and Aaliyah Boston aren't just rebounders, they're two-way machines who impact every phase of the game. Boston hauled in over 447,000 votes because she contributes everywhere, scoring, defending, leading. Kiki Iriafen is putting up double-doubles like clockwork and earned over 213,000 votes without fanfare. What fans reward is balance and versatility. Reese, by contrast, is still stuck playing a one-note tune.
7, 8, 9 on the list are Kelsey Mitchell, Sabrina Ionescu, and Lexington Hull. The following three are Kiki Iriafen, Kelsey the Plumber, and Satu Sabali? You mean to tell me these unknowns are ranked ahead of the face of the...
The stats don't lie. Reese might crash the boards, but her offensive inefficiency and limited scoring range cap her ceiling. So here's the real question: what should earn a player an all-star nod in today's WNBA? Rebounding might grab headlines, but fans clearly want more than a niche skill. They're voting for well-rounded stars, not just athletes who can collect stats in one column.
Lexi Hall, 217,000, and there is Kiki Iriafen, 213,500. She's averaging a double-double, a legit double-double, with a good field goal percentage. Angel Reese, well, wait a minute, I thought it was about you too. Everybody's watching because of me too, except everybody's not watching because of you too. I mean, guys, if the ratings ain't enough, and the attendance ain't enough, and what happened at LSU ain't enough, and all this other stuff ain't enough to tell you where Angel Reese's place is, well, it's 13th.
Let's break down the math. Fan votes count for 50% of the All-Star results, while players and media each contribute 25%. That means the fans hold the most power, and they used it. Caitlin Clark secured over 516,000 votes, absolutely burying Reese's 173,000. That's not a gap, it's a canyon. You could build a full WNBA storyline in that space and still have room for a halftime show and a marching band.
So even right down here, the Mirror's calling out Angel Reese. As for Reese, one-time All-Star from last year in a rookie season alongside Clark, who appears set to earn a second honor, has struggled in 2025. 23-year-old, notorious for her rebounding supremacy, averages 11 points, but the Sky are 3 and 8. And she's shooting like, I don't even know what she's at now. It's probably less than 35%.
And this goes deeper than fan preference, it exposes a narrative failure. The All-Star vote is supposed to reflect popularity, respect, and media buzz. Yet despite months of non-stop press building Reese as the league's breakout face, the fans rejected it. Clark didn't just meet the hype, she outperformed it with cold stats, game winners, and viral highlights that demanded attention. She didn't talk, she delivered.
Let's see, fan voting runs through the 28th, culmination of fan voting 50%, player votes 25%, and media votes. Oh, that's going to be where Angel Reese makes her move. Media votes 25% will determine the All-Star starters. Looking right at you, CBS, you still ain't released the rate.
Look at the rest of the top vote getters and the pattern is clear. Aaliyah Boston? Nearly 450,000 votes. Nafessa Collier? Pushing 500,000 as this season's MVP frontrunner. Why? Because fans value production over personality. These players bring both consistency and dominance, night in and night out. Reese's stat line doesn't even enter the same conversation.
BC Collier, who is probably the leader of the MVP pack right now, is at 485,000. Aaliyah Boston is third. 447,000, as she should be. Aaliyah should get some MVP conversation. I'm going to be honest.
Yes, Reese leads the league in rebounds, but in a modern WNBA built on versatility, that's not enough. She's a one-dimensional presence in a multi-skilled league. Fans want players who stretch the floor, make big defensive stops, and lead their teams when it matters. And until Reese proves she can do more than crash the glass, the fan base isn't buying in.
I know Kelsey Plum is likable. She's a lovely lady, but you mean to tell me she's more popular than Angel Reese? The same Angel Reese who has been begging, and I mean begging, people on social media to vote for her? Angel Reese, number 13 on the list, 173,000 votes.
Reese's rise has been powered more by personality than performance. From viral quotes to high-profile brand deals, she's mastered visibility, but that's not the same as impact. The media jumped the gun, painting her as the next great star before the stats supported the storyline. And now, the fan vote has caught up to that mistake. The audience isn't following press narratives anymore, they're watching games, reading box scores, and deciding for themselves who deserves the spotlight.
Single free throw. Although she did have 12 rebounds, her average, which does lead the league. But a couple of times Angel drove it and flung up just these wild shots from 3 or 4 feet that missed the rim by, 3 or 4 feet. Just looked so ridiculously awkward, like she'd never even played basketball.
This vote wasn't just a snub, it was a statement. To Reese, and to every player chasing all-star dreams, consistency matters. Flash fades, but impact lasts. Fans made it clear that personality alone won't earn votes. Reese's media image and her on-court production have officially diverged, and the numbers prove it. This wasn't just a shuffle in rankings. It was a reshuffling of how fans define stardom. Performance now outweighs promotion. And until Reese closes that gap, she'll stay in the conversation, but not in the top 10. If you're backing Clark and the Fever, keep voting. Comment Baby Goat over Baby Giraffe below, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We've got more breakdowns on the way, click the next video on screen, and we'll see you there.
Numbers are 100% accurate, and Angel Reese is the 13th most popular player in the WNBA. This probably means she will not be a starter in the All-Star Game, which would make sense because Angel Reese shouldn't be a starter for a regular